Charlie wakes up to the sound of bird song, but she can still hear the crackling of the embers in the fireplace. She looks directly into Minka's eyes, and apparently there's a question there because Minka smiles and she speaks. You look a little confused, which is not unusual. No, I, I thought I heard birds singing, but the fire. Oh, well, we know that you love birds, and we thought that would be nice for you this morning. And we always have a fire. It it's nice, and the warmth, I don't know, it just is comforting to us. It's comforting to me too. Thank you. I do love birds, and it's always been nice to wake up to their music. But you probably know that, like the rest of my family, I love music. Oh, yes. And so do we. Music is, it's like balm to the soul. It is one of God's greatest gifts to us. Even those who cannot make music on their own, just being able to appreciate the gifts of others is a blessing. It is. My Gigi always, she's, what's wrong, child? I have a heavy heart. I can see that. None of the other ladies have spoken. They're just present, which is very nice. Charlie instinctively knows that these women do not have to speak. They are speaking to her, but that is by choice. So why is your heart heavy? This is my fault. Becca turns her head slightly to the right and she says, "And how is this your fault?" I I should have called my husband. I should have called the security detail, and I didn't. I did not for one moment think that I would be in danger. You see, I don't live my life that way. Saida speaks. As well, you shouldn't. Most of the bad things that happen in life, maybe I'm stretching it by saying most, but some of those things are just going to happen. And there's a lot you can do about it. So you're worrying about something that is almost a waste of time. Sophia has been watching Charlie very closely. So what you're saying is it's your fault that someone decided to give you a concussion, or did you do that yourself? Okay, let's look at it that way. You gave yourself a concussion, you cracked two of your ribs, and you sliced your side open with a knife. All of this while you're trying to protect an unborn child. So that's your fault? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're thinking? Is that what is weighing on your heart and your spirit? Charlie is a little taken aback by Sophia's words. Is that what happened to me? Minka says, yes, that is what happened to you. None of your injuries are life threatening, but they will take time to heal. And combined, they're very scary. That is why my heart is so heavy. When my husband would even bring up extra security or anything like that, I pushed back because I didn't want to, I didn't think I needed to live my life that way. You know that my husband is extremely rich, and I'm still having a hard time thinking that I'm a threat to anyone, or I know that he was concerned that someone may hurt me to get to him. I know from conversations with his grandmother that they have to be conscious of security, which is, I mean, that's part of their business. They have one of the most powerful, not just effective, successful, but one of the most powerful security companies in the world. And I know they're bad people. My family, almost my entire family is in law enforcement, but my daddy taught me how to take care of myself, at least up to a point. And I realize now that I was overconfident. And now I've been hurt, and they're worried about me. And the very last thing that I want to do, that I've ever wanted to do, is to bring worry to my family. And I, I don't know how to fix that. Saida speaks. Or when you wake up, that will fix it. You learned a lesson. It's not a lesson that you really didn't basically know. You know that bad things happen to good people. You know that many people lose their lives trying to save the life of another. You know that. And I will agree that you probably did have a little bit of overconfidence there, but what about faith? Maybe what you felt was just a show of faith. You have a huge amount of faith for someone so young. I thank you. Thank you because sometimes it's not that my faith wavers. It's just sometimes I want to get it right, you know. And worrying is not a show of faith. And I just, I'm not afraid of being hurt. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of those things. I hope that's a show of faith. But I do live in this world and I have to use what God has placed in my life to help to keep me safe. Sophia says, yes, you do. You do. Trying to keep yourself safe is not a selfish act. In fact, it's the complete opposite because you know how much you are loved. What you don't know is how much you would be missed. You are a vital part of this family. Every member plays a part. Every person has a purpose. And the family is like a big giant puzzle piece. Even though sometimes the ends are a little off and they have to be trimmed, rounded and smooth, but life does that. Life does that. Life smooths those corners. Life makes the pieces fit. Now, can we resist? Of course, because God gave us free will. And yeah, we can be that puzzle piece that moves itself over to the side, too much to the right or the left or the top of the bottom, and create dissension in the family unit. And sometimes as we grow, that's what we do, not intentionally, but we're trying to find where we fit. We know your story. We have watched you as we have all of the women in our family. What about the men? What about the men and the boys? Oh, they have their experiences. They're not as they're different from those of the women because men and women are different. We're not supposed to be the same. The setting that you see here is a part of you. You love warm fireplaces with big hearts and the decor and the paintings and the ambiance of this room. You love bird song. What you see has come from your heart to give you the comfort that you need right now. Becca laughs. And we must say you have really good taste too. Although we did have to tweak it a little, but it it it, it needed to be pleasant for you. Thank you. It's very pleasant indeed. Thank you. I find all of you so fascinating. And although I'm not happy about what happened to me, and I'm concerned about my family, I am thankful for this experience. Will I remember? You will remember what you need to remember. You will only take with you that which will help you maintain your peace. Can you tell me a little bit about yourselves? Is that is that something that you can do? Minka thinks about it. Well, there's not a lot to tell. Or maybe I should say there's too much to tell. But I do have to tell you this. Sarah, Charlie's surprised. But then when she thinks about it, she realizes that she shouldn't be surprised about anything. Sarah, your Gigi, is my direct great granddaughter. Oh, wow. That is what I see in you. It is. It is. I could tell that you recognized you recognized her immediately, but you weren't quite sure what you were seeing. I just felt it. I knew it was strong. And she looks around the room, and you are Saida speaks. We are all related from the maternal side of our family. Minka is your closest relative. Or maybe I should word that a little differently. You can trace the connection. We are well, some of us are further away. Well, all of us are further away. And there's a little movement and creativity and it's not so straight. It's not such a straight line. To be honest, you would think that straight lines genetically would be something that would be kind of what we did, a part of our structure, but it's not always that. It's not always like that. But Sarah is, well, she's almost 100 years old, and that has a lot to do with that as well. Sophia says Sarah will become one of us. Now that doesn't surprise me. My Gigi is, I've never had words to describe her. Well, that's not surprising because there are some people that go beyond words, and she's very special. She's very special. Is there a reason why there are so few women born into our family? Well, that is from, is more so from the paternal side. That's pretty much what, that's what makes that so. But reason, no. There are some families that have an abundance of boys, and there are some families that have an abundance of girls. With our family, it's just spaced out. It's spaced out. But the women are unique in what they bring to the family and what they bring to the world. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying that our family is so wonderful and special beyond any other family. I'm not saying that. Because we do have free will and we make choices, and God already knows what those choices will be, and He allows things to happen to us in order to get us where we need to be. But we're all His children. We're all His children. And none of us, not one of us, has the right to judge another person. We can be discerning. We're supposed to be. Because discernment helps us make life choices. But to condemn another person, no. So I look at us as being equal in that sense. I understand that. But evil is everywhere. Oh yes. The battle goes on. It will continue to go on until Jesus returns to the world. The times will get much worse. But then you know that. Oh yeah. I do. It's disturbing, and it's very discouraging. But I've learned that only faith can make it possible for us not to just want to go into a cave and block it off and stay there forever. Becca laughs. Yes, and many have tried that. I know. But that's not the way it's supposed to work. We live the life that we've been given. And we do our very best to fulfill the purpose of God in the process. And look how he blesses us. Look how good he is to us. I know. Sometimes that scares me. Sometimes I look at my family. I've been surrounded by love my entire life. That doesn't mean that I haven't had moments of it doesn't mean I haven't had questions. Of course it doesn't. We have questions and we're here. When we think back and look at our lives when we were there, to be honest, most of it is we're looking at the choices that we made that were just so ridiculous. And we don't even know how we could have expected a different result. But we did. We sure did. But through all of that, even the hardest times, God was showering us with blessings. And some of them we still don't know what they were. We just know that He was there even when we didn't know that He was there. Even when, for most of us, we thought that we were in control. Oh, we know what we were supposed to think, but our egos wouldn't let us move too far from ourselves. Minka has been watching Charlie. You've always counted your blessings. That's always been very clear to us. You spend a lot of time questioning whether or not you deserve those blessings. Charlie doesn't respond. It's true. She just looks down a little. Being a humble person is wonderful. It pleases God. It certainly pleases us. But understand and remember that you are God's creation. He made you just as He intended to make you. He already knows the person that you will become. And yes, your choices have and will continue to help mold you into that person. And you will make mistakes, just like we all have. But you have the inner strength to learn quickly from those mistakes, where so many people don't. That's when what we do, who we are, becomes so difficult. It is painful to see our children, because that's what you all are. You you are daughters in that sense. To see you struggle, any of you, from bad choices and bad things happening that you don't deserve, bad things happening that you brought on to yourself. It doesn't even matter. We just don't want you to have to suffer. But God never said that life would be easy. And it's not. But see, that's why I feel feel like I have had some hurdles to get over. And I know I don't have to tell you what they are, what they've been. But I feel like I've been blessed so much that I'm being disloyal to my faith and letting God down when I have those feelings. He is so good to me. I know I keep bringing Sebastian up, but, and I'm not saying that he's perfect, just like I'm not perfect. But I don't have to explain myself to him. I've never had to explain myself to him. And he doesn't have to explain himself to me. I know a lot of people probably think of the money and the power that he has as a caveat to our marriage. Yeah, I can purchase anything I want, but I want him and our life together. That's what I want. Do I want to wake up homeless? No, I don't. Am I trying to say that I don't enjoy the perks of being married to someone where money is not an issue? I'm not saying that. But I'm not materialistic. Yes, I like nice things, but most people do. Even those who say they don't care at all. Most people like what they like. He gets very frustrated with me because he it's not that he doesn't understand my mindset, because he understands me. He wants me, he wants to do things for me, and that morning when I asked him to take me home, I saw the pain in his eyes. I'll never forget it. And the helplessness. Minka speaks. But that's love. Love is love is kind, and love is gentle, and love is wonderful. But loving someone leaves you open to so many things. And when you're open like that, earlier we spoke of having an open mind. With love, you have an open heart. And that means that you feel things so strongly that, yeah, it can be uncomfortable, it can be painful, it can be a lot of things. But it's a part of faith. God is love. You trust that person. That person trusts you. Now that's in an ideal situation. We know that that doesn't happen all the time. Saida says, no, it does not. A personal relationship is one of the most precarious relationships there is. We disappoint each other, we let each other down. We could spend a whole lifetime between the four of us telling you about how many times our hearts have been broken by men that we adored. And we can spend two more lifetimes telling you about the tremendous outpouring of love that we have received from sometimes the same men, sometimes the different men, but we felt it. Does that make sense to you? I think so. To know what, for a woman to know what it means to be adored, to know love at that level, I don't really have the words to say what that means. Now, there is no love that can even compete with the love that God has for us. God's love just fills every void, covers everything. It's just God's love. But He gave us the ability to love each other. We are mandated to love each other. And then He added that extra component to where we can have romantic love as well. We're all forever romantics. And we embrace that. We have a joyful time sitting around a fire or in a garden or laying across our bed, whatever it is, wherever it is, where we're the most comfortable. And we talk about the loves of our lives. Now, the love between parent and child, that's at that level and beyond, but it's a different type. It's a different type. The love that you have with your husband is very refreshing. But the love that Sarah had with her Mark, that was refreshing as well. Your great grandparents planted seeds in their children by what they saw, by what they spoke, and just amazing genetic blending of them. So you're almost destined to find the type of love that you have. Although we were a little frustrated with you because both of you seemed to fight it. We did. I don't remember not loving him. I never even thought about he was, for all intents and purposes, a white man. He would probably look at me crazy if I said that because he embraces his Japanese heritage as much as or more than he does his Caucasian. But then you know why. Sophia speaks. Oh, we know why. Because his mother is his mother is a racist. And some of it is her upbringing and the seeds that have been planted in her core. But not all of it. Not all of it. The majority of it is her choice. She fell in love with a man of Japanese descent. Would she have married him and gone to live on the other side of the world had he not been rich? Probably not. That made him much more attractive. And although her family um, did a lot of complaining and saying a lot of nasty things, they were impressed by his wealth as well. So don't ever think differently. Charlie says, "Oh, I know." I know. And I know Sebastian, he loves his mother. And I don't ever want to be, I would never do anything to intentionally come between he and his mother. He gets frustrated and angry with her because she says ugly, nasty things, but that's okay. That that's okay. God has gotten us to a point where, well, we've always been at a point that we can deal with that.